I've got my iced coffee and I've got a good pile of books to get me through the month of June. So let's talk about those. Let's get started with the two books that I've already read at this point in the month. Two really great books. One is a 4-star and one is a 5-star. Those two books are Yellowface by R.F. Kuang and Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I finished this one first. It lives up to the hype. Definite Princess Bride vibes, and I love the Princess Brides. Also my first Brandon Sanderson experience. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about his writing style, about the way that he constructs a story, and I can honestly say I'm looking forward to reading more from him. I'm actually tempted to chuck the TBR I'm about to share with you and just start reading Mistborn. We'll just see how the month starts to unfold with the books that I have in my pile, and if I've finished the bulk of these and I want to get back into the Cosmere, I will probably give that a shot, but we'll see. I definitely am looking forward to picking up Mistborn this summer. The next book that I read at the beginning of this month was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and this is another one where it was very hyped up, very highly marketed and promoted on social media, so I wasn't entirely sure what to think. This also lives up to the hype. I really love R.F. Kuang's writing. This was my first one of her books as well. This book blows the lid off of not just the problems within the publishing industry with regards to racism, sexism, and prejudice, but also within friendship, inner jealousies and comparisons, how that toxicity kind of builds up on the inside and impacts your relationships, your perspective of yourself, and it really just messes with your mental health. It is very punchy, it's very thriller-esque in the way that it builds as the plot progresses. It's unhinged. I really loved it. So yeah, I recommend Yellowface. One book that I have started, I will probably finish it today or tomorrow, The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. This was my pick for the month of May. I have a personal rule, which I'm about to share with you about my book of the month, and that is that I have to read it within a month from when I got the box. I just never want to be the kind of girl that has an entire shelf that is just these book of the month hardbacks, and that's just because I don't have a whole lot of shelf space. I'm not sponsored by them currently, but I will continue to give you honest reviews about the books that I read from them each month. I still enjoy being a part of the process of seeing those new releases. It is a pretty good price for a new hardback, and I'm happy to donate or get some used book credit for a book of the month book if I didn't love it. So far in the story, I'm starting to put the pieces together of exactly what Clover's collections look like, and I think it's kind of funny that last month I read The Dictionary of Lost Words, where our main character was collecting words and their definitions, and in this one, Clover collecting the last words of her clients. She is a death doula, and so she hears people's last moments as they're slipping from this life, what they wish they had done, what they wish they communicated to their loved ones, places that they wish they could return to. So she makes notes on those. She has 3 separate books where she collects these last words into different categories. I couldn't tell you at this point whether it's going to be a 3-star or 4-star. If I had to guess though, it's kind of looking like a 3-star. This has very similar feel to me to the Lonely Hearts book club, which I read last month. I did not love that one. It's kind of light and colorful, much like the cover, but I'm not sure that this is headed toward favorite town right now. So I'll keep you posted on that. The other book that I have started also this week is Tower of Thorns by Juliette Marlier. The last time that I talked about these books, I think I was holding it like this, and I said something like, it's only 400 pages. It is small. It's a trade paperback, so 400 pages is actually not that much text, and it does go quite quickly. We have an additional character who has entered the story of Blackthorn and Grimm, and it sounds like she might derail their plans. That there is a legend in this story, and there's someone who is not completely being honest about what's going on. It's going to be up to our 2 protagonists, as usual, to figure out what exactly is the truth and what their role is in resolving this mystery that also has magical elements. I am enjoying my time with it, and I will keep you posted on how that goes and what my final review is as well. The book that I'm the most reluctant to read this month is probably The Brothers Karamazov. I don't want to put myself into a Russian reading slump by reading The Brothers Karamazov this month, and I will probably hold off on that. Still remember enough from my initial read to be able to enjoy the discussion with Carolyn and Emmy at the end of this month in the Game of Tomes. I am, however, going to read The Stranger by Albert Camus. This one is very short, as I've mentioned in my book haul earlier. I am not super excited to read it. It could be good, but that is another one. Next up, I plan to continue my journey in the Murderbot series by Martha Wells. All three of these next books out from the library is very reflective just because of library covers. They tend to be that way. This one, I believe, is the conclusion to the central series. The other two books that I have, what I've seen on Goodreads and Storygraph as far as my reading order of this series, aren't directly tied to our main storyline, but they still are in the world featuring our main character, of course. I'm still looking forward to reading these last three this month. As I mentioned, I picked up Yellowface. I'm going to be continuing my journey with R.F. Kuang by reading Babel. And this definitely falls in the category of a mashed potato book for me. On the Books Unbound podcast with Raylene and Ariel, they were discussing how sometimes when you get a new book, you are so excited to read it, you're a little afraid to read it and be disappointed. You might save it till last and then it's too cool to be enjoyable. Those are the mashed potato books. We have dark academia vibes, the art of translation from one language to another, and how that factors into civilization. I was intrigued enough by what other people were saying about this book to pick it up myself, and I'm looking forward to getting to it this month. Also from my last book haul, Tom Hanks, The Making of a Major Motion Picture Masterpiece. Genre-wise, I have been a little disbalanced toward historical fiction of late, and so I'm excited that this is my only historical fiction this month. As I mentioned previously, in this book we're following a soldier who has come home from World War II, and he has a lot of memories that he has told to his nephew. His nephew grows up and becomes a graphic artist, and he decides he would like to make his uncle's stories into a comic book. So he creates that comic book. Several decades later, a famous Hollywood director decides to adapt that comic book into a feature film. So we're following not just the uncle's story back in the aftermath of World War II and his experiences, his recovery, but also his nephew's experience as a comic book artist, and then the Hollywood adaptation process of a book to film. I think this one is going to be heartwarming, hilarious, and memorable, and I am excited to read it this month. A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. The last one on my TBR, but it did still make it in. I take your recommendations seriously. It helps me reprioritize what I want to read. Yes, A River Enchanted is also on my June TBR. Quick update about some summer reading plans. I was running a poll on YouTube and my Instagram page over the last couple weeks asking you what type of content you'd like to see over this summer. A summer book club, summer bingo card, or reading your big books this summer. The final results were very close. We ended up with at 44 and 44% split between the bingo card and reading your big books. So here's what I've decided to do. We're gonna do both. I'm going to give you a summer bingo card that you can use at your own pace to track the variety of books that you read this summer. And then when we hit the month of July, we're going to be starting on reading our big books. Now is a great time to think about the different large books that frighten you on your bookshelf. I'm willing to bet that at least some of those are classics. Let me know in the comments which one that you're thinking of, because what we're gonna do come July is we're going to strategize how to read those at a pace, keeping you moving through the story and yet helping you process what you're taking in, encouraging one another with external resources like other YouTube videos that you can watch for background, things that will overall enhance your experience of reading that book, motivation of having another friend who's reading the same book, and I hope give you a really memorable summer reading experience. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so that you are in the loop for those opportunities communities, and when those elements are ready, you'll have first access to them. I look forward to hearing from you on what you've been reading, what you're planning to pick up this month. If you don't know what to comment below, please comment a mushroom emoji, and if you've read this book, you know why that's significant, and if you haven't read it yet, you should add it to your list for this summer because I think it's a great summer read. If you have any other recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments. If you'd like to support my channel, hit that like button. I will see you in another video soon.